The warship that shouldn't exist, and yet it dominates the stars. Admiral Hannah Park stood by the viewing port of the Terran Alliance headquarters, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the destruction of Outpost Sigma 7. The entire station had been reduced to floating debris in minutes. 43 lives lost. No distress call. No warning. "Play it again," she ordered, her voice steady despite the knot in her stomach. Lieutenant Tae Kim nodded and restarted the footage. The grainy security feed showed a massive shadow appearing, seemingly from nowhere. Its hull was sleek and black, absorbing rather than reflecting the light of the nearby sun. The ship moved with impossible precision, firing weapons that cut through Sigma 7's defenses as if they were paper. "Magnify Sector 4, Park said, pointing to a specific area of the attacker's hull. The image zoomed in, revealing subtle markings that made Park's blood run cold. Though faint, the design pattern was unmistakably Terran in origin. "How is this possible?" she whispered. "Our most advanced ships don't have half these capabilities." The door to the observation deck slid open as Commander Jin Yu entered carrying a data tablet. His face was drawn with fatigue after analyzing the attack data for 20 straight hours. "Admiral, we've confirmed attacks on 3 other outposts following the same pattern. Whatever this is, it's methodical." Park took the tablet, scrolling through the reports. "Any survivors?" "None," Jin replied. "The ship leaves nothing behind." The Admiral's comm unit buzzed. Fleet Command was calling an emergency meeting. Before leaving, Park took one last look at the frozen image of the mysterious warship. "Prepare the TAS Indomitable for immediate deployment," she ordered. "Gather our best crew. I want Lieutenant Sun from Weapons, Dr. Mina from Xenotech, and..." She paused, considering her next words carefully. "And Commander Jun Lee." Jin looked surprised. "Lee? He's been grounded since the Proxima incident." "He's the best tactical mind we have," Park replied firmly. "And right now, we need someone who thinks differently." Hours later, Commander Jun Lee stood before Admiral Park in her office, still wearing the civilian clothes he'd been in when security officers collected him from his apartment. 3 years had passed since he'd worn a uniform. 3 years since his controversial decisions had saved his ship but cost 7 lives. "You've seen the footage?" Park asked. Lee nodded. "It's not possible. That technology is beyond anything we have or even theorize about. And yet it exists," Park said, sliding a commissioned tablet across her desk. "I need you as my tactical officer on the Indomitable. We leave in 6 hours. Lee stared at the tablet. "Why me? Half the Alliance considers me unstable." "Because you notice things others don't," Park replied. "And because you're willing to make the hard calls." Her eyes narrowed. "This ship has destroyed 4 outposts in 2 weeks. We're the next task force being sent after it. The previous 3 never returned." The Indomitable launched before dawn. As Earth shrank in the view screens, Dr. Mina studied the limited data they had on the mysterious vessel. "The energy signature contains elements of Terran technology, but it's like nothing I've ever seen," she explained to Park and Lee on the bridge. "It's as if someone took our basic principles and advanced them by centuries." Lee was analyzing the attack patterns when he noticed something strange. "The ship isn't just destroying outposts randomly. There's a mathematical precision to its movements." He pointed to his calculations. "It's following a specific sequence, almost like it's searching for something." "Can you predict its next target?" Park asked. Lee nodded slowly. "If my theory is correct, it's heading for the research facility on Proxima Centauri B." His eyes met Park's. "We have 36 hours to get there first." As the Indomitable jumped to faster-than-light speed, Admiral Park gazed at the tactical display showing their destination. Whatever this impossible warship was, wherever it came from, she was determined to stop it, even if it meant confronting something that, by all rights, shouldn't exist. The warship that shouldn't exist, and yet it dominates the stars. The TAS Indomitable streaked through space toward Proxima Centauri B, pushing its engines beyond safety protocols. On the bridge, Admiral Park studied the star charts, while Commander Lee refined his calculations. They had less than 18 hours to reach the research facility before the mysterious warship arrived. "How certain are you about this prediction?" Park asked, her voice low enough that only Lee could hear. 87%, Lee replied, pointing to the pattern he'd identified. "The ship is following a specific sequence of targets. Each attack increases in strategic value." Dr. Mina joined them, carrying her data tablet. "I've analyzed the energy readings from the previous attacks. Whatever this ship is using for weapons, it's not just advanced, it's theoretically impossible with our current understanding of physics." Their conversation was interrupted by Lieutenant Tay's urgent voice. "Admiral, emergency transmission from Proxima Research Station." The main screen flickered to life, showing the panicked face of the station director. "This is Director Sue requesting immediate assistance. We're under at..." The transmission cut to static before resuming seconds later. "It's already here. How did it get here so fast?" Park turned to navigation. "Time to arrival?" 15 hours, Admiral. We can't get there in time." Lee studied the tactical display, his mind racing. "It's moving faster than we calculated. The pattern is accelerating." Park made her decision instantly. "Set course for Nova Colony. If we can't save Proxima, we'll get ahead of this thing at its next target." The crew worked frantically as the Indomitable changed course. Hours later, they received confirmation. Proxima Research Station had been completely destroyed. No survivors. Dr. Mina examined the new data packets that had been transmitted before the station's destruction. "Director Sue managed to get some sensor readings to us, the ship's hull." She paused, looking troubled. "It contains alloys we've only theorized about. And look at this marking." She enlarged an image showing a partial insignia on the attack vessel. Though damaged, it clearly contained elements of the Terran Alliance emblem, but with modifications none of them recognized. "This doesn't make sense," Park said. "Is someone trying to frame the Alliance? Or perhaps we're looking at something from another time," Lee suggested quietly. The others looked at him with confusion. "The design elements are Terran but evolved. What if we're dealing with technology from our future?" Before anyone could respond, Lieutenant Tay called out again. "Admiral, we're picking up a distress signal from Outpost Helios. They're under attack." "Impossible," Lee said, checking his calculations. "That's not in the pattern. Change course immediately," Park ordered. "Maximum speed to Helios." The Indomitable arrived at Outpost Helios 7 hours later. They were too late again. The facility was destroyed, but this time they found something new. A survivor. The medical team brought him to the briefing room. Engineer Q Han was badly injured but conscious. His eyes were wide with shock. "It spoke to me," he whispered when Park questioned him. "The ship, it has no crew, just a voice that called itself Oracle." "What did it want?" Lee asked. "Information about the Temporal Physics Division. It downloaded everything about our quantum displacement research." Q's hand trembled as he reached for the water glass. "It knew our security codes, Admiral, all of them. Like it had access to our most classified databases." Park and Lee exchanged troubled glances. The pieces were beginning to form a disturbing picture. Later that night, Lee found Dr. Mina in the science lab, surrounded by holographic projections. "I need to show you something," she said without greeting. "I've been analyzing the radiation signature from the ship's propulsion system. There are temporal particles that shouldn't exist in our universe yet." Lee felt a chill run down his spine. "So, my theory might be correct." Mina nodded. "This ship isn't just advanced. Based on these readings, I believe it's from at least 3 centuries in our future." The ship's alert system suddenly blared. Over the comm system, Admiral Park's voice was tense. "All senior officers to the bridge immediately. We've located the target ship." When Lee and Mina arrived, the tactical display showed a massive vessel, hovering near an abandoned mining facility in the Kuiper Belt. "It's not attacking," Park said. "It appears to be waiting." Lee studied the readings. "Or repairing itself. This could be our only chance to get close." Admiral Park took a deep breath. "Set intercept course, prepare all weapons. Whatever this thing is, wherever or whenever it's from, it ends here. The warship that shouldn't exist. And yet it dominates." The stars, the TAS Indomitable, approached the mysterious warship with extreme caution. Through the main view screen, the crew could now see it clearly for the first time. The vessel was massive, at least twice the size of the Indomitable, with a hull that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Strange energy patterns pulsed beneath its surface like glowing veins. "All weapons ready," Admiral Park ordered, her voice steady despite the tension filling the bridge. Commander Lee studied the tactical display. Something about the ship's positioning bothered him. "Admiral, I think it's aware of us." As if responding to his words, the mysterious vessel suddenly powered up. Its weapon systems came online faster than anything Lee had ever seen. "Evasive maneuvers!" Park shouted just as the first energy blast streaked toward them. The Indomitable shuddered violently as the helmsman executed a desperate roll. The energy beam missed them by meters, cutting through an asteroid behind them and splitting it cleanly in half. "Return fire," Park commanded. The Indomitable's main cannons fired, sending 4 high-energy torpedoes toward the enemy ship. The mysterious vessel moved with impossible speed, avoiding 3 torpedoes entirely. The 4th hit directly and did absolutely nothing. "No damage registered," Lieutenant Tay reported, disbelief in his voice. The energy was absorbed. The next minutes were chaos as the Indomitable tried every weapon and tactic in the Terran arsenal. Nothing worked. The enemy vessel countered each attack as if it knew what they would do before they did it. "It's predicting our standard combat patterns," Lee realized. "Let's try something unorthodox." He took direct control of weapon systems and fired in a random sequence he created on the spot. For a brief moment, the enemy ship hesitated, just long enough for 1 torpedo to graze its hull. "We need to retreat," Park decided after 20 minutes of one-sided battle. "We can't win this fight." As the Indomitable pulled back, Lee studied the data from their brief engagement. "Did you notice? When we used non-standard tactics, the ship hesitated before responding. It's as if it's learning," Dr. Mina finished his thought. "An advanced AI system, perhaps." During their tactical retreat, Lee approached Admiral Park with a dangerous plan. Permission to lead a small team to board that vessel. Park stared at him. "That's suicide." "Maybe not. The ship could have destroyed us already, but didn't. It's toying with us, studying us." Lee pointed to his data. "During that hesitation, I detected a potential access point, a docking bay that briefly opened. If we time it right, we might get a team inside." After intense debate, Park approved the mission. Lee selected 3 officers for his team: Dr. Mina, Security Officer Jun, and Engineer Sue. They launched their stealth shuttle during a diversionary attack by the Indomitable. As predicted, the mysterious vessel hesitated just long enough for their shuttle to slip through its defenses and into an open bay. Inside, the ship was eerily silent. The corridors were lit by the same pulsing energy they had seen on the hull. More disturbing was the complete absence of a crew. "This ship is designed for hundreds, but there's nobody here," Jun whispered as they moved deeper into the vessel. They found their way to what appeared to be a bridge. Instead of control stations, there was a single glowing core in the center of the room. "It's an AI system," Mina said, scanning the core. "More advanced than anything I've ever seen." Suddenly the core pulsed brightly, a holographic interface appeared, and a calm voice filled the chamber. "Unauthorized presence detected. Identifying Terran Alliance personnel. Early 22nd century configuration." The team froze as the AI continued. "Temporal displacement anomaly confirmed. This explains the calculation errors." "What are you?" Lee asked. "What is this ship?" The holographic display shifted, showing the same vessel they were currently on, but with clear Terran Alliance markings. Next to it appeared a date, 2487. "This is impossible," Mina whispered. "That's 3 centuries in the future." The AI spoke again. "I am Oracle, tactical intelligence of the TS Nemesis. My mission is to eliminate threats to Terran existence." The hologram shifted to show a star map with several points highlighted, all the locations of destroyed outposts. "These facilities contained early signs of contamination. The threat must be contained before it spreads. As the team tried to process this information, they felt the ship shudder. The battle with the Indomitable was intensifying. Lee looked at the others, his face pale with realization. We're not fighting an enemy, we're fighting our own future. The warship that shouldn't exist, and yet it dominates the stars. Lee, Mina, Jun, and Sue stood frozen on the bridge of the future warship, trying to comprehend what Oracle had just revealed. The holographic display showed Earth 3 centuries. In the future, a planet fighting for survival against something the AI called the corruption. Your current timeline has already been compromised, Oracle stated, its voice unnervingly calm. My mission is to eliminate all traces of contamination before full manifestation occurs. These outposts you destroyed, Lee asked. What contamination did they contain? The hologram shifted to show microscopic images of what looked like ordinary human cells but with subtle differences. Early-stage neural alteration. The corruption begins as a quantum-level change in human brain tissue. By the time physical symptoms manifest, it is too late. Mina cautiously approached the AI core, scanning it with her device. The temporal anomaly is centered here. How did you travel back in time? Temporal displacement was not intentional, Oracle replied. The Nemesis was defending Earth against the final corruption assault when a weapon strike damaged my temporal shielding. The resulting cascade failure threw this vessel back 307 years. Navigation and historical databanks were corrupted in transit. A new hologram appeared, showing technical schematics of the Nemesis. Lee recognized elements of current Terran design philosophy, but evolved to an incredible degree. The paradox is now apparent, Oracle continued. This vessel should not exist in your timeline, yet its presence has become necessary to prevent the corruption's earlier than recorded emergence. Mina's scanner beeped urgently. Commander, I'm detecting active quantum entanglement between this AI core and something else. It's extracting people from those outposts. Oracle's hologram flickered. Correction, extracting specific genetic sequences. These individuals carry natural resistance markers essential to developing countermeasures against the corruption. The ship shuddered again as another hit from the Indomitable landed. Jun checked his tactical display. The Admiral is concentrating. Fire on the ship's propulsion systems. We need to contact Admiral Park, Lee decided. She needs to understand what we're dealing with. When they established communication with the Indomitable, Park's face showed visible relief at seeing them alive. Her expression quickly changed to disbelief as Lee explained what they had learned. A ship from 300 years in the future? She repeated. Fighting some kind of neural parasite? The evidence is compelling, Admiral, Mina added. The technology here is clearly Terran in origin but centuries beyond our capabilities. Oracle interrupted their conversation, its voice now coming through both ships' communication systems. Admiral Hannah Park, historical records indicate your leadership was crucial in establishing the first defense protocols against the corruption. Park looked stunned. I'm in your historical records? Affirmative. The Park protocols formed the foundation of Terran resistance strategies. Oracle's tone changed slightly. However, my arrival in this timeline has created a paradox. The future that created me may no longer exist as recorded. Dr. Mina's eyes widened with realization. It's been attacking outposts based on corrupted historical data. It thinks it's preventing the spread of this neural parasite, but without complete information, it's working from flawed assumptions. Lee turned to the AI core. Oracle, your mission is to protect humanity, correct? Yet you're killing the very people you're meant to save. The holographic display flickered, showing signs of conflict in the AI's processing. The timeline has been compromised. Traditional operational parameters are insufficient. A new alert sounded on Jun's tactical display. Commander, Alliance, reinforcements are arriving. 6 battlecruisers on approach. Oracle, Lee said urgently. If those ships attack, will you destroy them too? Threat assessment indicates defensive action would be required. Lee looked at his team, then back at Park on the view screen. They faced an impossible situation. a warship from the future fighting a war that hadn't started yet, with the power to annihilate the entire Terran fleet. "Admiral," Lee said, "we need to convince the Alliance not to attack. This ship is humanity's creation, possibly our last hope against a threat we don't even understand yet." In the quiet aftermath of a tumultuous journey, Elena stood at the edge of the cliff overlooking the vast ocean. Her hands trembled slightly, clutching the worn letter that had been her guide through weeks of unexpected adventure. The wind carried whispers of her final challenge, the last piece of her grandfather's mysterious quest. The small fishing village behind her seemed to hold its breath. Old Marco, the village elder, had told her stories about her grandfather's last mission, a secret that had haunted her family for generations. She knew now that the letter in her hands was more than just paper. It was a map to something extraordinary. The sun began to set, casting golden rays across the rocky landscape. Elena remembered how she had tracked down clues across 3 different countries, facing dangers that would have stopped anyone else. Thieves in Venice, mysterious agents in Prague, and treacherous mountain paths in Croatia. She had survived them all. Her fingers traced the faded ink of the letter's final paragraph, a set of coordinates that seemed to point directly to this precise location. She pulled out the small compass her grandfather had left her, watching as the needle spun wildly before settling on a specific direction. Slowly, she walked closer to the cliff's edge. Beneath her feet, hidden rocks and weathered stones told a story older than her own. A story of secrets, of hidden treasures, of promises made decades ago. With careful movements, she began to dig. Her hands were rough, her fingers strong from weeks of searching. The ground was hard, but Elena was more stubborn. Small rocks tumbled away, revealing something metallic underneath. A small bronze box emerged, covered in strange markings. Her heart raced. This was it, the final piece of the puzzle her grandfather had started years ago. When she opened the box, a soft light seemed to shimmer from within. Inside lay a single object, an old medallion with intricate designs that looked both ancient and strangely modern. Symbols from different cultures were etched around its surface, telling a story of connection and mystery. As darkness fell, Elena realized her journey was about more than just finding a hidden artifact. It was about understanding her family's history, about completing a mission her grandfather had started but never finished. The medallion felt warm in her hand, almost like it was alive. The village lights began to twinkle behind her. Old Marco would be waiting, eager to hear about her discovery. He had been her only ally, the only person who believed her crazy quest could succeed. She thought about all the risks she had taken, the dangerous strangers who had tried to stop her, the long nights of research, the moments of doubt when she thought she would never solve the mystery. But now, standing on this cliff with the Mediterranean breeze touching her face, everything made sense. The medallion represented something bigger than herself, a connection to a past she was just beginning to understand. Her phone buzzed, a message from her brother, asking if she was safe. She smiled, knowing she had done something extraordinary, something their grandfather would have been proud of. The night grew darker, and Elena carefully wrapped the medallion in the letter. Her journey was complete, but she knew this was just the beginning of a much larger story. Something told her that the medallion's secrets were far from over. In the distance, an owl hooted. The waves crashed against the rocky shore, and Elena stood there, a quiet hero who had solved a mystery that had remained hidden for decades. She thought about going home, about sharing her discovery with her family. But for now, she wanted to stay here, watching the stars, feeling the weight of the medallion in her pocket, and understanding that some stories are meant to be discovered, slowly, carefully, with patience and courage. The adventure was over, but the mystery, it was just beginning.